an umbrella group of white supremacist organizations called the Nationalist Front held its first rally early Saturday morning in Shelbyville, a town of 21,000 about an hour south of Nashville. Police stood between some 200 counter-protesters and various white supremacist factions as they exchanged chants. At least one white supremacist was seen throwing up a Nazi salute, while others, carrying shields and wearing helmets, chanted "White Lives Matter" and "Blood and Soil." Counter-protesters heckled them from the other side of the street, offering free genetic testing to the so-called master race. Later in the afternoon, the groups planned to move to the main event, a rally in the town of Murfreesboro, a larger college town 25 miles back toward Nashville. All the Nationalist Front groups present were seen at the Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville in August, which broke out in violence and ended with white supremacist James Alex Fields Jr. allegedly driving his car into a crowd of counter-protesters, killing 32-year-old Heather Heyer. Fields was protesting in Charlottesville with Vanguard America, one of the groups in Tennessee, on Saturday. Other groups included the League of the South, Traditionalist Worker Party, National Socialist Movement, Anti-Communist Action, and the Right Stuff. The specter of Charlottesville hung over both of the rallies. To stem any potential violence, police in both Shelbyville and Murfreesboro posted long lists of prohibited items, including everything from guns and baseball bats to selfie sticks, water bottles and laser pointers. One of the stated aims of the white supremacists Saturday was to turn the page on Charlottesville, burnishing the Nationalist Front's image after its violence at the August rally was broadcast across the world. "No swastika flags this time," wrote Brad Griffin on his blog Occidental Dissent earlier this month. That got the Nationalist Front bad press. Griffin, who goes by the pen name Hunter Wallace, is a leader in League of the South and one of the main White Lives Matter rally's organizers. On Friday evening, a HuffPost reporter met Jeff Scoep, head of the National Socialist Movement, in a hotel parking lot in the Nashville area. Standing with three NSM subordinates, two of them armed, Scoep too seemed fixated on changing the optics of organized white supremacy in America. "No more swastikas," he said. "No more shouting racial epithets. But it's hard to teach an old Nazi new tricks." When a pair of young black men started taking photos of the Nazis hanging out in a hotel parking lot talking to some journalists, a middle-aged NSM member wearing SS lightning bolts on his jacket said, "Get out of here, NRs." "Don't," Scoep chided him under his breath. Still, Scoep felt comfortable explaining to HuffPost that the long-term goal of NSM is to create a white ethno-state or white homeland in America. But for now, being white civil rights advocates will do. And that means protesting refugee resettlement in Tennessee, Scoep said, and bringing attention to the church shooting in the nearby town of Antioch last month, in which 25-year-old Emmanuel Kidga Sampson opened fire at a church, killing one and injuring at least 7 others. Sampson came to the U.S. from Sudan as a child, the Associated Press reports. Scoep criticized the press for not covering the Antioch shooting nearly as much as the 2015 massacre at Emmanuel African Methodist Episcopal Church in Charleston, South Carolina, when white supremacist Dylan Roof killed 9 black people. A note found in Sampson's car in Antioch reportedly referred to revenge for the South Carolina shooting. When a white person does something that's directed at so-called minorities, then it's a big issue, but when the shoe's on the other foot, and it's a so-called minority doing it to white people, even though it's the exact same thing, it's brushed under the rug, he said. Meanwhile, Friday night, businesses in downtown Murfreesboro boarded up their shops. Since it opened in 2012, the mosque has received a bomb threat and been the target of arson. Women in headscarves outside the center have been harassed. In 2010, over 300 anti-Muslim protesters marched on the mayor's office here, chanting "No Sharia in the USA," and demanding that the town not allow the Islamic Center to be built at all. Saturday's White Lives Matter rally felt like an extension of all that hate, said Dr. Saleh Benati, a professor at Middle Tennessee State University who is a member of the mosque. It's that you are living like a hostage in your own town and city that you've lived in and loved so many years, he said of the rally. This is not the US we know of, and I hope this is not the way from now on. It's unbelievable. This is a developing story. Check back for updates. America does not do a good job of tracking incidents of hate and bias. We need your help to create a database of such incidents across the country, so we all know what's going on. Tell us your story. Related video, watch news, TV and more on News Pulse View.